Hello and welcome to another video. Today we are going to be using two different stamp sets and the coordinating punch to this Butterfly Gala stamp set to create this lovely card. So I used the colors Gray Granite for this gray, Petal Pink, and Pear Pizzazz for the green. I'm actually a part of a Stampin' Up! Color challenge group on Facebook, and a little while ago I asked for one and then promptly forgot I had asked for one. The evening went and got ahead of me, so I'm finally sitting down and completing the challenge I requested and then was given. And so I thought that today I would show you how I made this card. So in this card, like I said, I used Petal Pink, Gray Granite, and Pear Pizzazz. So I decided, well, if I'm going to make the card again, I might as well switch up the colors a little bit. So I didn't deviate too much. I chose Soft Seafoam, Highland Heather, and then Crumb Cake as my more neutral tone. So let me show you how I created this. So let me set this off to the side here. The first thing I did is cut down my pieces. So my pieces for this card are my regular card base of 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I used Crumb Cake as my base, but you could have used any of those three colors. I thought Crumb Cake would tie in nicely. I have a layer here of my Soft Seafoam, and I have that layer here in, it is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. That will layer right on top here. I then have my Whisper White layer. This is 3 3/4 by 5 inches, which will go right on top. I have a strip of Soft Seafoam. This is 1 1/4 inches by 3 3/4 inches, which will go kind of right across here. And then same here, I have just a 1 inch strip by the 3 3/4, which will lay on top like that. So if you wanted to, so as you can tell on this one, I actually tied in the pink with the back and the front. You could absolutely do that in this case. That is actually one of the things I'll be curious to see if this Highland Heather pops off a little too much on the card. So we'll see. We will see. Let's experiment together. So first things first, let's start stamping. So first thing that I recommend stamping is the more scripty background, and I'm going to do that in the Crumb Cake. So I'm actually loading this up on one of my bigger E blocks. The D block, you would have not really had the coverage you needed. So for this card, because it's a little busy, it doesn't super duper matter if everything is aligned perfectly, but I do recommend you kind of attempt to do it, just because otherwise I think it's going to look a little too wonky. Yeah, there we go. And I just went ahead and did all 4 corners, but like intentionally left, there we go. So like I intentionally made it look a little different so that no one who like received the card would be like, well, that's just the same stamp over and over again. I thought that would add a little bit of uniqueness to it. So let's do that, put that off to the side, get your 1 inch strip while we have our Crumb Cake out. Let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment nice and in the middle, and there we go. So let that dry off to the side. That block is now done. So next you want to add this leafy image here, and notice all of the different kind of dimension to this tag, this stamp. So I'm gonna plop it right here on the back side. I'm gonna clean this one off and put it away. There we go. Nice and easy. I'm using the Stampin' Up! Chamois, which I adore. I used to use the Stampin' Scrub a lot, and since I've gotten the chamois, I've definitely, and look, like you can tell, I use it a lot. It is stained, it is not dirty. So now that I have this ready to go, I can close up my Crumb Cake before I make a mistake there. Load up my Soft Seafoam. Then put that right back here. And again, I'm just kind of going for coverage here. I'm not necessarily going for any one design. Oh, that's gonna look nice. There you go. And I'm sort of trying to go over these kind of more empty spots, not like with the goal of filling them in completely, but just enough to make sure that it doesn't look too empty there. And then I'm gonna add just a little bit up here. Actually, I'm gonna cut right there. There we go. So there's that one done. Although I did on my card add a little bit here to the back piece of the sentiment. So I did not cover all of it. I just enough to say that I put a little bit on there. There we go. Just enough. So it kind of ties in the back to the front there. All right, so next comes the more troublesome issue here. So I have my Highland Heather, I have my butterflies loaded up. Stampin' Up! Did this wonderful thing where the two butterflies are actually connected, which is great because it makes for lining up the punch really easy. The problem here though is that I'm worried that the Highland Heather is going to be really, really stark. So we'll find out. Let's test it out. So I have my foam mat from my Stamparatus handy, so I'm going to use that one today. Normally I would use my Stampin' Pierce mat, which is going to be back from manufacturing here soon, but it's not there yet. So this one is photopolymer, which is why I am, oh actually, I almost made myself a bigger headache than I need to. So the punch actually goes in this way, so you kind of want to make it as easy for you as possible. Look at that. Beautiful. So the one thing that you might notice, these butterflies have little bodies, these don't. I actually have my little bodies mounted on two sides of one block. I do recommend, if you decide to use this stamp set and punch, that you actually punch it out first, then stamp on their little bodies, because otherwise it is quite obvious that you'll end up being a little off. I mean, I've tried oh so many times and it seems like I never can quite get it just right. So punch that out and then we'll see if it is too much or if it is just right. So got our little bodies here. I put my ink away when I didn't need to. All right, so there's no definitive way to organize your little bodies. I kind of aim for the slightly larger piece to be the little head of the little butterfly. There we go. And as it dries, it won't be quite as stark of a contrast there. So there's that. Now all we have to do is assemble our card. So, oh, and then a paper saving trick in case you decide to use this one. I actually stamped these on this layer right here. I couldn't really do that on this one because I was going for a different color butterfly, but absolutely you could do that on a future card as a paper saving trick. So let's go ahead and use our Stampin' Seal. Take the cap off. And then I'm just going to actually put it just on two sides, I think. This is a very good adhesive, so it really doesn't need coverage at every single layer. Or not layer, every single little corner. There we go. So there's that. Let's add our layering piece. And there we go. So in this case, since the font is all cursive-y and you can't quite make it out, it's not the end of the world if you were to put it upside down. I haven't done that yet, so you know, that's a perk. There we go. And then here's kind of where you want to put it. I put mine pretty low, and I thought that it gave just enough space to the butterflies where they didn't seem too crowded. And I think that's what I'm gonna do again. There we go. And you just center it here. It'll have about 1/8 of an inch in space here, assuming you center it pretty well. All right, moment of truth. Okay, those are kind of stark, but I kind of like it. So what we'll do, let's go ahead, and for this I actually used our liquid glue. I found that it sticks very well and you can actually have a little bit more give in case you don't quite like the placement. I also bent their little wings so that they kind of come off the page. I thought that would be nice. Let's do that. we go. Little butterfly. It'll stick in a second, though I do recommend you hold it down for a minute. Actually, I'm going to turn their direction a little bit. There you go. Let's see. No, that looks nice. You tell me, what do you think? There we go. Which do you like better? I like the soft seafoam color better on this one, but I like the tying in of the petal pink and the butterflies being the same color. If I was to do this one over again, maybe I would swap the soft seafoam for the Highland Heather. I'm not sure. You tell me in the comments what you think is going to be the one that you prefer. I'd love to see what you think. If you have any needs to pick up these items to make your versions of these cards, I will have all of the links to these items in my blog post, as well as the dimensions of these pieces in case you didn't catch those earlier. And I encourage you to subscribe if you have interest in making videos, or in making cards with my videos as inspiration for you in the future, so that I can help you get that rolling on your YouTube feed. If you would like, feel free to turn on the notification bell so you can actually get alerted every time I create a new video. And with that, feel free to leave in the comments which card you think is the winner, if you will. I'm leaning, I like this card, but I think it's because of the combination here. I like these colors, but I think I would rearrange the layers if I was to do this one again. So leave me a note, let me know. If you need any of these materials, feel free to follow my links to my online store below. And go ahead and let me know if you need any help with that via email, or leaving me a message, or sending me some kind of comment here below on this video. Until next time, bye guys.